Hey, Joost here from Pacebuddies. Welcome to the Aerobic Edge podcast. Glad you're taking the time to listen. In this podcast, we talk about running, but mostly about training smarter. Hey, welcome. Glad you're here. Today, let's talk about something almost every runner runs into sooner or later. You know, that feeling of being stuck. That every run you give it everything you've got, but you're not getting any faster or fitter. Maybe just more tired. I see it in so many runners, through Pacebuddies, on the streets, online, who tell me exactly the same story. The story of more, harder, and more often. You see it on apps like Strava. Every run becomes a performance. That easy run, well, it secretly gets a little too fast. That tempo run, it feels harder than it should, because you weren't recovered from the last one. It all becomes one big grey zone of fatigue. Why do we do this? Honestly, there's often a bit of ego involved. It has to feel like we're working. Like a workout only counts if you're completely exhausted afterwards. And running slow? Sometimes it almost feels like failure. Like others are thinking, look at him, he's not even trying. But that's the trap. It doesn't just cost you progress, it costs you the joy of running. You start dreading your runs instead of a moment of freedom. It becomes a chore you have to grit your teeth through. And all the while, the solution often isn't training harder. The solution is train smarter or recover harder. And that starts with understanding how your body actually improves. Today we're going to talk about the most important principle almost everyone forgets, the SRA cycle. And that's a cycle we use a lot at Pacebuddies. It stands for stress, recovery and adaptation. And why rest isn't something you take, but something you do. It's the active part of your training where you actually get better. So let's go back to the basics. Your body isn't a machine that progresses linearly. It's an adaptive living system. And it works according to a simple but brilliant principle, the SRA cycle. The S stands for stress. That's your training. Today's run. You give your body a stimulus. Your muscles, your tendons, your energy systems, you're asking just a little bit more than they're used to. That's the moment where you break down something. It's the work you do, the run. That's stress. But then step 2, recovery. This is where many runners go wrong. They think the workout is over. But this is where the real magic begins. As soon as you stop running, your body jumps into action. It cleans up the mess we've made during the run. It repairs the microscopic tears. It replenishes glycogen stores. This is the construction site after a demolition day. Without this phase, nothing will happen. And then step 3, adaptation. We also call it supercompensation. Now your body goes beyond just repairing. It thinks, wow, that was tough. To be better prepared next time, I'll build myself a little bit stronger than last time. It builds more mitochondria, and those are the little energy factories in your cells. You become more efficient at using oxygen. Your muscles get repaired a little bit stronger than it was before. This is the moment where you make real progress. But here's the clue. It takes time. That supercompensation, that getting stronger, doesn't happen in the next day. It takes time. What you do today in training will only have its positive effects in about 10 to 14 days later. It's like working for a month, but your paycheck only arrives 2 weeks later. If you spend that money now, today, you're going to get into trouble. You'll go into the red. And exactly the same with training. The run is the work you do. Recovery and adaptation are your salary. If you do another hard workout too soon, Before that salary has been paid, you dig a hole. You exhaust your body before it has the chance to grow stronger. That's stagnation, that's overtraining. And this isn't some fake idea. This is basic physiology. Study after study shows that a large part of our training, about 80%, maybe even more, should be in a low aerobic zone. This is the foundation, the engine you're building. The other 20% is the quality, the stress stimulus. But without that solid foundation of easy runs, that quality has no ground to build on. So how do you translate this to your own running life? How do you stop always living in the red and start investing in your recovery? Well, it starts with a mindset shift. You need to see recovery as an active choice, not as a passive doing nothing, sitting on the couch. It's not weakness, it's the smartest part of your training. It's the moment your progress is actually being built. So let's take 3 practical rules you can apply today. Rule number 1. Embrace the 80% rule. Truly. From now on, your goal is 80% of your weekly mileage should be so easy you can effortlessly hold a conversation. You're breathing calmly, maybe even through your nose. It feels almost too easy. And this wasn't a waste of time. This is where you build your aerobic base, your endurance, without breaking your body down. If you run 4 times a week, that means that 2 or maybe even 3 of those runs are truly easy. Full stop. Before you lace up your shoes, check in with your body. How do you feel? Do you still feel yesterday's fatigue in your legs? Is your resting heart rate higher than normal? These are signs that your body is still busy with recovery. The salary hasn't been paid out yet. On a day like that, an extra rest day or a truly easy run or maybe even just a walk is smarter than just grinding it through because it was planned on your calendar or in your schedule. A quality session one day later, but on fresh legs, is infinitely more valuable than going into that session fatigued. Rule 3. Answer the "yeah, but" in your head. That voice that says, "yeah, but that slow pace doesn't feel like training." I know that voice. I've heard it too. But my answer is simple. Give it time. In a few months, at that same light effort, that same low heart rate, your pace will have gone up. Your aerobic engine has grown larger and more efficient. You can absolutely run yourself into the ground by going too fast, but you will almost never break your foundation by going too slow on your recovery days. Trust the process. You can run too fast, but you can't run too slow. And this brings me to an important point that many podcasts and coaches miss: customization. Just like a diet is never one size fits all, the same goes for running schedules. What works for someone else doesn't have to work for you. Your life, your work stress, your sleep, your genetic makeup, it all determines your unique SRA cycle. The art is learning to read your body and adjusting your training accordingly. That's where real, sustainable progress comes from. Maybe you're thinking, Joost, this sounds all logical, but how do I start? My schedule is always full, my habit is to push. Start small. Choose one run next week. That one run that would normally become a medium effort, and consciously make it a true recovery run. For example, run it 30 seconds to a minute per mile slower than you're used to. Pay attention how it feels. Breathe. Enjoy the fact that you're not fighting. Enjoy the scenery. You're outside, you're doing it. That's step 1. The second step is planning. Don't schedule your hard quality sessions and 20% right after another hard day. Make sure there's enough recovery time, at least 48 hours, around it before you apply another stress stimulus. That's our 48-hour rule in Pacebuddies. Protect that recovery period like you would an important appointment. And finally, be patient. Don't expect to run a personal best after just 2 weeks of training. Remember, the gain from what you do today won't show up for another 2 weeks. Right now, you are building a foundation you can keep building on for the rest of the year, injury-free and with enjoyment. This is the essence of the aerobic edge. It's not the edge of your maximal capacity, it's the edge of training smart, where you apply just enough stress to get stronger, and then take enough rest to actually let that strength emerge. So, what is it all about? Progress isn't about always digging deeper. It's a dance between work and rest, between stress and supercompensation. So train hard, but recover smarter. That's the aerobic edge. If this way of thinking resonates with you, if you're ready to find that personalized approach, because what works for someone else doesn't have to work for you, then I invite you to take a further look. This is exactly why I started Pacebuddies. Not for standard copy-paste plans, but for one-on-one coaching, where we look together at your life, your body, and your goals, where we build a plan that actually takes your recovery, your workload, and that joy back into every mile. If you want to talk about what that could look like for you, go to pacebuddies.com. You'll find all the info and about personal online coaching there, and you can get in contact with me. Let's work together to make running feel like freedom again, and not like a battle. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. And remember, sometimes just put your feet up. You've earned it. That's it for today. Hope you got something out of it. If you'd like to talk further, not about cookie cutter plans, but about what actually works for you at your pace with your own goals and your own life, head over to pacebuddies.com. That's where you'll find everything about one-on-one coaching. No standard stories, just figuring out together what actually works for you. And if you found this episode valuable, share it with a running buddy. It helps me out, and I hope it helps them out as well. Looking forward to hearing you next time. Until then, this was Joost from Pacebuddies.